What's up, everyone? I've got something exciting to share with you today. Recently, I was invited to participate in the closed beta for Mecha BREAK, an up-and-coming mecha game, which I'm sure a lot of you will be interested in. And I was able to capture a lot of good gameplay and had a lot of fun doing it, so I thought I'd show off some of it to you guys in the coming weeks. And starting off here, we're going to be playing Alysnes. This is kind of the beginner striker the game starts you off with. It runs you through a lot of tutorials with it, but just because it's a beginner does not mean it's necessarily easy or bad. And it's definitely a lot of complexity to the striker. So this match in particular here is after I've had more than a few games under my belt, even with this particular striker. So I know a little bit more what I'm doing coming into this one on the final day of the beta. But we're going to be playing on Kraub Sinkhole. This map features the domination game type, which is pretty similar to similar game types in other FPS games that you're probably aware of. But kind of unique to this one is that it starts off with only the middle point activating. And you see that isn't quite activated yet, but we're going to have to fight over it, and then the side points will activate a little bit later, which kind of means that everyone's going to go mainly towards the center at the start here. We're already seeing some action. An enemy Skyrider flying through the sky here over on the right side takes a couple sniper shots from one of my teammates. I'm able to finish him off with my energy autocannon, doing a little bit of damage there. Most of the work from my sniper. Now we're going to get in the middle here and go for some more damage, and I spot this enemy Hurricane up a little close, decide to go for some of my melee hits, and something unique to all melee weapons is that they pierce through shields and hit health directly. So you're going to notice that everyone has health bars. They have the white health and the green or red health if they're an enemy, and the white health is fluid shields, and that will recharge gradually over time if you're not taking damage, but the green health will only recharge if you have a healer on your team, and that's pretty limited. In this beta, we had Lumine, which is kind of the support striker, and then also Tricera, which is more of a tank turret type, but it does have some healing for allies nearby around it. So you may notice right there, it looks like I died not once, but kind of twice, and that's because Alysnes has a special ability where once you die your first time, your armor purges, and you become kind of a weaker version of yourself, lacking most of your abilities, just kind of a weak machine gun type weapon, and then a weaker melee. But the first time you enter that mode, you can choose to activate an airdrop and call back in your full armor a single time for life, and that gives you access to all your abilities again. So usually I try and get a little bit of value out of the weaker version before I call in my armor drop again. It looks like right here I'm about to lose my full armor and have to purge again. I'm getting kind of pursued by the enemy Alysnes, and there it goes. So this is my last life this time, just going to be the small form. I cannot call in another armor drop until I die, and it looks like the enemies are still coming in pretty close. But I'm going to try and get what value I can out of this little life. Like I said, damage is a lot lower when you're in this form, but melees do still pierce those shields, and the enemy team does not have a healer, so even that little bit of melee damage I got before I died couldn't end up mattering in the long run. And something this game has, which is kind of nice, is you get this long kill cam showing how the enemy killed you if you want to watch it, and the damage numbers on the left side there will count up, so you can kind of get a good idea of exactly where everything came from that ended up taking you out. But if you don't feel like watching it, you can also stop the replay of it and just spectate your teammates before you respawn. Now I'm coming back in, and looks like we were able to retake one of the points. The enemy had two for a bit there, but we're back to it. And now it looks like they captured the middle point, so got to make a decision here. I'm thinking about going up the middle. I do have my teammate, the Narukami there. They're a stealth sniper that might be able to cover me a bit, but I decided it's probably easier to go to C point over here since I already have a teammate there, and see if we can recapture that. And Alysnes doesn't have great range fighting. Even the autocannon is kind of weak at range, so most of your stuff is going to have to get in close. But I get here, there's a duel going on between the enemy Panther and my friendly Panther, and those are a melee. Those strikers only have melee weapons. So they have shields and melee weapons and basically nothing else, so they are melee specialists. But I'm going to see if I can get in the melee action a bit here. But I spot the enemy Skyrider coming in. You can see 4 melee attacks cleave right through that HP bar. Shields are not going to help at all. And that's especially satisfying because a Skyrider and Falcon are the two airborne specialty strikers, and they are incredibly hard to lock down, especially with shorter range strikers like Alysnes. So being able to jump up and land those melees when he got in a little too close was pretty satisfying. But the downside of melee weapon attacks is that they do use up some of your energy bar, and I was not managing my energy too well there. Fell down in the bottom of this pit, and I have to wait to get out. But enemy Hurricane drops down on me. Got my Lumine teammate with me, and together we are able to finish him off, even though my energy is still pretty low. But unfortunately, because he came in as a distraction, I did miss the lift to go back up, and I'm still sitting here waiting for my energy to recharge. And that's something that's kind of a bit of an Alysnes exclusive issue. Not to say other melee strikers don't run into problems with running out of energy, but at least Panther has a ability that allows them to fully regen their energy, so as long as that's off cooldown, they can do that, while Alysnes kind of has to wait a while, but I guess that's possibly an intended downside for also having range options and multiple lives with being able to call back in your armor drop. I see over here enemy Narukami, not stealth at the moment, just hanging on that wall, but they end up stealthing to try and run away. Trying to get a few shots on just to prevent them from cloaking again, but other enemies have taken notice. Oh, I'm getting a little stuck here. I've had to drop down, and enemy Panther's up on me. Gonna see if we have a melee duel. So something interesting with shield abilities, the blue shields, those are called complex shields compared to the white fluid shields, is that as soon as you use a shielding ability like that, there's a window that's, I think, around 2 seconds where you will parry melee attacks. So both me and Panther having shields like that, we could have done some parrying there if we're not careful. So that's something you have to watch for when you're fighting up close with your melee attacks. But Falcon has no shields like that, so just going to jump up, see what damage I can get, and then turn around as they fly away, see who else I can find floating around. And there's Hurricane over there. Hurricane does not have any melee options, does have a shield he can put up. You can see that shield directly in front of him, but he can't hold it up for very long. It's actually, the ability there is he puts up a shield and drops one of those decoys you can see floating around, those decoy shields that kind of take your lock on and force you to attack him. So he can parry if he's good with it, but he can't hold the shield for long. So if you just see him drop it, and if he doesn't have another charge available, you can go in for melees for free. And right now, I think he's probably out of them since he's been dropping those decoys like crazy. Using his splitter beams here to try and deal some damage, and that's going to hurt when I get in close on him, but I'm just trying to get as much damage as I can. Still got a little bit of life left on this, but he hits me with 2 shots, get pretty low, and decide to call back in my armor, and this will be the last time for this life. I was hoping to go and finish off that Hurricane now that I've got my full abilities available to me, but he looks like he slipped away. So I'm going to come back over here in the middle and try and fight the Panther. Get a melee in the back, but there you see, that was the parry. He pulled out his shield and blocked my second melee attack. I put in my shield here hoping to parry, but he actually whiffed the melee, and then he parried my follow-up melee because he got his shield out again in time. But teammate was able to finish him off. See Sky Raider again flying around. Just throw some shots his way, but like you can see, I'm not doing much from range, so once he got away. But there's the Hurricane, he's back. He's got full fluid shields, but melee doesn't care about that. He had his shield up, but it went down by the time I got him with the melee, and then it just cleaves right through his HP bar again and finishes him off. I haven't really talked about the last ability that Alysnes has. It's got the Gauss cannons, which is the 2 ability there, where you see the 3 charges above it, and that one's pretty good. It actually does stagger enemies on hit, so you can kind of stun them and maybe follow up with a melee or stagger them if they're attacking with your teammates, give them some a chance to get away. But if it misses, it does take a little bit to fire, so that's why I'm probably a little bit hesitant to use it, but that's something I could definitely improve my Alysnes play. Right here we see theirs floating in the sky. He's got his shield up, but poking away at it. He's getting pretty low. I'm thinking here maybe I can chase him and get some melees, but I may have overextended. Sniper's on me, Sky Raider's shooting me as well. And now we're back to small form once again, and this is all I've got. No more armor call-ins. I'm gonna see what I can do. Try and sneak up on this Hurricane again, get some hits on him. He turns around, gets that parry, drops that shield as well. I'm just firing away, and that is gonna be the end of my life. But the score is getting close to the end here. I think as long as we're holding 1 point, we'll be okay. But they've got 2 captured, and they might try and get this last one. I decided to switch over to Spectate, just see what's going on, and it looks like they actually did get the middle, but our Narukami stealth over, capped the last point over there, and that was able to get us the win. So we pretty much more than doubled their score at the end there, but I think combat-wise, it was pretty even, but we were just doing a little bit better job of playing the objective. Now at the end of the match here, it actually does show kind of a highlights reel of all your kills and stuff like that, if you feel like watching that. But we're going to see the MVP here was my teammate, the Sky Raider, and that's not an uncommon sight in this beta. I think if you asked around, most people would agree that Sky Raider is probably the best striker in the game, at least in this beta, so I'll have to see how that changes for the full release. But I was still able to come second place on my team, so I'm pretty happy with that performance. But yeah, that is some Mecha BREAK gameplay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching it. I've got a lot more saved up that I'll be showing off some of it, so let me know if you're interested in seeing that. But definitely excited for this game's full release, and I can't wait to play some more. So thank you for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.